Before I go to bed, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Um, well, this is probably going to be on Black Friday. I just want to discuss how I went from a centrist style Obama supporting Democrat to the Bernie supporter I am today. Now, I have discussed why I support Bernie. Um, but I'm going to talk about how I got here. Now, some people have been supporting Bernie from the beginning. I don't have that honor, I'm ashamed to say. When I was a teenager, which I graduated high school in 2011, at 17. Wait, I turned 18 in 2011. Um, I was basically like anti-federalist to be fair. Like I was like the founding fathers in the 1780s, pro Confederation, anti Federalist, and I still am to this day. But I'll stick with the system that we got now. Like I was for like a revised Articles of Confederation with like Articles of Confederation, but giving the government the power to tax, the power to enforce the laws. Because that was one of the weaknesses. It can make laws, but it didn't have any power to enforce them. Control the military. Uh, yeah. Oh, and also obviously civil rights, like ending slavery, rights for women, gays, all obviously that. But I'm just saying. Um, then when Obama came around, I was actually distrustful of him at first. I remember 2008 election. I was in art class. I think I was like a sophomore or something. I remember looking at the TV. And there was like it was before Obama got the nomination. It was like John McCain. It was like from left to right on the TV. It was John McCain, Hillary Clinton, and Obama. I didn't trust either one of them. I wasn't gonna vote Republican ever. I never will. Um, Although to be fair, if it had been Hillary versus Rand Paul, I might have gone with Rand Paul. That's another story for another day. I didn't trust any of them because you hear all this shit about Hillary, and to be fair, I sort of had a little Obama derangement syndrome, but more solely about the Hussein thing, the fact his middle name is Hussein, and also when I was a theocrat at the time. So when he said we are not a Christian nation, I don't know how to do Obama. Um, I can do his singing. Um, Obama can sing. Amazing grace. But I didn't trust when he said we are not a Christian nation. I was outraged. I thought, oh yes, we are. To be fair, I wasn't a homophobe. I was just more anti-Islam. Like I was very hateful. I'm not anymore, but I've changed a lot in the last 10 years. Um, to be clear. Let me be clear. Don't get it twisted. I've changed a lot, and we'll see how pretty your face is once my fist has kissed it. That's my Obama impression. Yes, finally got it clear. Um, then I was distrustful of Obama. Although to be fair, I didn't really pay attention to him that much for while I was in high school. But then, as soon as I graduated high school, May 2nd, 2011 came around. Um, um, oh, Bin Laden got killed. Obama ordered the raid that killed Bin Laden, and so I'm thinking, if he was a true Muslim, he wouldn't have killed Bin Laden. So, when he announced that that Osama bin Laden had been killed, my opinion of Obama really turned. I mean, seriously, my opinion was like.
My nigga.
And before Obama became president, I started watching Jon Stewart and The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and The Colbert Report with Stephen Colbert. And I still watch Stephen Colbert, although I do have some major criticisms for him. When Jon Stewart left, I was all utterly disappointed. I was like so sad because I love him. First of all, he was funny.
Will you invite an important visitor to our house, to our town, and eat your pizza with a fork right in front of us? Who the do you think you're? You know what? Hey, why don't you take your Fiorello LaGuardia's hat and feed it to Joe DiMaggio's crying ghost on Liberty Island, you son of a bitch.
And also, he was like, he would speak the truth, and he had some liberal bias, but you could barely tell. More like he just had a reality bias. But I tried. I gave Trevor Noah a chance, but he's not funny. He's too he's too pro corporate, too pro Hillary, too pro feminism, and also he said GD a little too much. Stephen Colbert, he would say it like once or twice, but it's like, sorry, but I just hate that word. And yeah, it's like, don't you like George Carlin? Well, one, he's a fucking atheist, and two, he's dead. Three, it doesn't mean I don't watch George Carlin every day. Point is, he just wasn't funny. And what really, anyway, irrelevant. 2011, I would like tune in, and I did like defend Obama a lot. Whenever my parents would come up with some conspiracy, maybe not conspiracy, but they would say they didn't really come up with believe in any conspiracies other than the whole birth certificate bullshit and say he was a Muslim. And look, I got my criticism for Obama, and I'm pretty pissed at him for the things he said about Bernie, but he's definitely preferable over Romney and McCain.
Leading the negotiations with Iran and the world community and standing up for a principle that Ted and his brother, President Kennedy, believed in so strongly. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate.
But I did defend him every time. I never brought up Obama as much. I never brought up Obama as much as I do Trump. I guess because I was just content. As 2013 came around, Obama's second term, I started getting more girlfriends. I got a license in 2015. And so my main concern was less about defending Obama and tuning in to the Daily Show, although I still watched it I watched every episode until he left. Well, I still watched it after Trevor Noah, but less and less, and then eventually Trevor Noah started pissing me off. But as 2015, 2016 unfolded, I became less and less about politics and the nation and more about girls. In fact, like you could say, I spent more about 2016. I spent 2016 trying to get laid and then paying attention to the election. I mean, I did pay attention. I watched the last few episodes, the last of Jon Stewart, and I did watch Stephen Colbert, and I especially love the Hungry for Power games, and I'm disappointed he didn't do one for the 2020 nominations for the Democrats. But yeah, I spent more time just basically trying to get a girlfriend, trying to get in the bed. Yeah, and I did, and don't hate me, I voted for Hillary Clinton. And trust me, it's not like it's sort of like, I'm not going to vote for Trump, and I'm not going to do the whole I'm not staying home, and I'm not doing the whole voting for third party. Third party candidate hasn't won any A third party candidate hasn't won any electoral college votes since 1968, George Wallace, against incumbent Vice President Hubert Humphrey and former Vice President Nixon. But point is, it's sort of like she was preferable over Trump, obviously, and I'm a Dem. Although, to be clear, if it had been Rand Paul versus Hillary, who knows? I've got some criticism for Rand Paul, but he's like the only Republican I'd ever vote for. Yeah. But the only thing I knew about Bernie in 2016, by November 1st, 2016, the only thing I knew about Bernie Sanders is he ran against Hillary, and he ran against her until the day of the convention. I noticed that, and he was for legalizing weed. And I think this was Stephen Colbert who said this. It may have been Trevor Noah. I can't remember, but there was one where somebody said that Hillary Clinton's campaign slogan was "Stronger Together" because it was better than the original one. It's about fucking time. I realize that was more Stephen Colbert saying that. I realize that now is the way Stephen Colbert even now tends to fawn over Hillary. Yeah, but that's about it. I just knew he ran against Hillary and he was for legalizing weed. Okay, I voted for Hillary. Went home, woke up, learned that my nation died, and the day after, like not the day the elections results were announced, but the day afterwards, I looked up Bernie Sanders, and I liked what I had to see. Now, at the time in 2016, I started watching more, but like the most on YouTube I watched was Sugar Tits, Bearing, and Shoe on Hit. That's basically it at the time. I did start watching Andy Worski, but then he started doing more like 3 hour streams and stopped watching him. Hunter Avalon, then he started. I used to watch a lot more right wing or conservative um YouTubers, but then they became way too partisan, way too Fat Donnie, yes. Uh, Even Lauren Chen, Roaming Millennial, I can't watch anymore. Especially after she did this like Danny politics. Oh, you call us Easter worshippers, not Christians. I'm like, who the fuck cares? And I'm a Christian, and I don't care. It's just they they in the case of Andy Warski, I don't watch him more because he doesn't post anymore, and he I can't do 3 hour long videos. It just can't. I don't have time for that even then. But okay, and then but then one day, shortly after Trump got inaugurated, I don't know how I stumbled on his channel, but I found Kyle Kalinske, Secular Talk, and yeah, Kyle Kalinske obviously is a Bernie supporter, and throughout 2017, 2018, I wasn't really like as avid of Bernie supporter as I am now, but I definitely liked what I had. But I definitely liked Bernie. I definitely thought, I think my Facebook has some Bernie pro Bernie. My journal actually, I think it was has November 9th. Says the earliest I've ever mentioned my Bernie in my journal is we should have went with Bernie in like November 9th, 2016. Okay, so I watched it. Then I got into Ring of Fire. Then David Pakman. Then uh, I guess Sam Cedar. I don't know. I don't really watch Sam Cedar that much. Now I am subscribed to the Young Turks now, but when in 2017 I was on, I actually thought they were SJWs, and they have SJW tendencies. They tend. If you say something bad, if you say something negative about Muslims, oh, you're automatically racist against people who aren't a race. And Ilhan Omar, that little poster that about Muslims, oh, it's racist, even though her race is not mentioned. And they tend to be a little too pro identity politics. Maybe not identity politics, but they do tend to like put a little too much emphasis on representation. How we need, yeah, identity politics. Maybe not necessarily voting for someone, but we need people of this. Like, I don't think representation. And I know some of you might dismiss this because I'm a white guy. I just don't think representation is that important because it doesn't matter as long as that person gives the policies that you need. Who cares what that person's race, sex, gender, or orientation? I'm just saying representation is like low priority. We'll get there. I think we should focus on the identities of our politicians when we have a country that makes sense. But right now we don't. We need to focus on policy. So 2017, like I was more focused on, like getting a job, and just enduring Trump, and also enduring some crap I dealt with in 2017, personal stuff, and also converting to Catholicism. I convert my conversion to Catholicism has nothing whatsoever to do with Obama or Trump. It just happened to coincide. You know, me walking to a Catholic church first time in February of 2017, it literally had nothing to do with it. It was just like, it just happened to be at the same damn time. And 2018, I got my first job at 2017, I got my first job at Amazon for the Christmas season. Then I worked at Wendy's. Then I got my job at Amazon Fresh, and it was Amazon Fresh. I was already, by the time of the $15 an hour thing, I was already like pro Bernie. Like I wasn't like sold completely, but I did think he was like he should have won last time, and that we should vote for him. But as I was coming back from my break from uh, Amazon Fresh, the TV was on and it said that Amazon was raising the minimum wage $15 an hour, and I was like, yeah. It wasn't until I tuned into Kyle Kalinske that it turned out it was Bernie that had got us that $50 an hour. I think I've said this before in my previous video, but yeah, that if I wasn't that sold me. Like like, all right, Bernie, yeah, you got my vote no matter what. Although to be clear, I think I'd be in favor of this even if I wasn't an Amazon worker. If I had never worked at Amazon before, or at the time, I would be for it. Yeah. So before then, and then February 17th, 2019, I went to Mass, and I literally got on my knees and I prayed that Bernie Sanders would announce his candidacy, because with people like Joe Biden being an exception, there have been so many people announcing that they were running for president, including Tulsi, who I like, but I prefer Bernie. Tulsi as vice president or veteran foreign affairs or secretary of defense or something. I definitely want Tulsi in the administration. I got on my knees Sunday, February 17th, prayed for Bernie's announcement. 2 days later, Mom wakes me up and says, "Hey, just want to let you know that your man Bernie," and I announced, and I was like, "Yes!" I literally like trying to sleep, but like, well, hey, cool, dude, Bernie's announced he's your president. Yeah, and obviously, if you look, you can find my tearful reaction to it, because I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, and yeah, and May 18th, 2019, I heard, I was like praying I do a lot of praying. I'm like one of the progressives that believes in God, but I prayed that Bernie would come to Georgia, and he did. May 18th, 2019, he had a rally in Augusta, of all places. That's 2-hour drive from here. But me and my friend Jimmy, who isn't really political, but he does like Bernie otherwise, we drove there hot as hell. Because, it's May in Georgia. Even Bernie's like, it is hot here in Augusta. My God, this is not Vermont weather. But after he was done speaking, I actually got to shake his hand and actually thank him in person for um, the $15 an hour, and he held my shoulders. he, I had a stupid ass grin on my face, because not only did Bernie Sanders hold my shoulders, I got to touch him, and that sounded wrong. I got to shake his hand. He held my shoulders. I got to meet Bernie Sanders, and a couple days ago, the day after the Georgia debate, I actually got to meet him again and shake his hand again. Next time I'm going to get a photo with him. I didn't really get that opportunity. I got to meet his wife, though, which was also too. But Bernie Sanders, it's just, Bernie inspires more hope in me than Obama. Obama, I just hope that he would keep everything the same and maybe do some more on civil rights. I wasn't really informed on the issues. I was just basically pro civil rights, and not just like gays, but not just gay people and women, but I was also like anti Patriot Act, because I see even then I saw all the time of the FBI and the NSA and the TSA and the ATF, just violating people's civil rights in the name of national security, when really it's just protecting the status quo. You know, like if you really want national security, you get assault weapons off the street. But like the Obama era, I was all for him. Even the 2011 to 2019, I was all for Obama. But as you know, he left office and I got exposed to Kyle Kalinske. I got more critical of him. And a couple days ago, I really went off on Obama, obviously. But I am for Bernie. But so 10 years ago, I was a right wing Baptist, anti Muslim theocrat. Then I became more chill, became more Obama, for Obama. Then at 2017, and now I am for the Bernie Sanders campaign. You know, most people, they say, "Well, I was with Bernie during his first campaign." I'm like, well, kudos. God be with you. You're awesome. I wasn't in for Bernie until 2017 or November 2016. To be honest, I was like, there's one video I made responding to that wine mom. Like Obama was still, it was like the last few days of Obama. I said I tell people to support Bernie. Yeah. So I've been supporting Bernie since at least January 2017. Yeah. And I actually broke up with some girl because she was always just slamming Bernie last year. And I was like, this is before he even ran. I'm like, okay, if she's just like, I don't necessarily break up with girls over politics, but this is one of those times I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. Plus, also there were some personal things. She was just very rigid. But yeah. So I've come a long way, but I do owe my progressive position, my progressive values to Jon Stewart. You know, Kyle Kalinske is the reason why I support Bernie, but Jon Stewart is the reason I am a Democrat. You know, I did vote in fact, in 2018, I only voted for one Republican, and that's because I went to high school with the guy, and he's on the school board. You know, with all due respect, I'm not going to vote for him for anything else, but you know, school board. You know, and he knows what I went through in high school, and I just hope that you know he can deal with school bullying and teacher inactivity or teacher apathy, because that's a real problem in schools nowadays. Teachers are apathetic to school bullying. They just punish everyone involved. They don't punish the people who are responsible. You know, the reason why I didn't speak out a lot about, because I knew that people bullying, they were just going to punish me too, because you know they don't investigate. They just accept the word of the popular kids, which is the school version of the establishment, and over the person. Like I once was suspended or ISS for something I didn't do, but you know no one cares because no one listens. I voted for um this guy I went to high school with because I know that he's going to at least do something about school bullying. I know it's not going to be the biggest concern, but I hope that Mark Pettit, if you're listening, I voted for you, dude. Don't betray my trust. That's all I'm saying. But I've come a long way from being a nut job to Obama supporter to a Bernie fan, or as I call it, Bernie bro. I know Bernie bro is sort of like pejorative term they used for us in 2016, but I own it. I'm a Bernie bro. I'm a bro and I love Bernie, so I'm a Bernie bro. I'm also a brother. I have a little sister, so I am a bro. But yeah, that's my story about how I went from this to that, from Obama to Bernie, and I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday. I'm gonna go to bed now. May the force be with you.